This is Dabu7. We have talked many times about what to expect here around election time. Many people expecting chaos regardless of who wins or who walks away as president after all the dust settles. Now, we already know many groups are planning to cause chaos. They have openly stated this, and we have some that have taken to social media and have openly stated that they're going to cause chaos. And it kind of blows my mind because these same platforms are saying, oh, you can't have hate speech, you can't have this or that, yet these groups exist and they thrive right there on the same platforms. And one of those groups is threatening to descend on the White House and to occupy the White House and to run Trump out if Biden wins and if Trump says he's not leaving immediately for whatever reason. So we have law enforcement across the country stepping up now saying brace for chaos, because we've already seen as an example throughout this year, there are pockets of these individuals that hit these cities. And when they're done with one city, they'll move on to the next. Now, we've seen some crazy waves of madness in this country this year, the likes of which many people have never seen before. I live streamed a lot of it, as much as I could, from Louisville, that showed the madness of them busting out the windows and lighting buildings on fire and all that stuff. I expect to see that again. We've also seen these individuals wild out, during championship ball games and things like that. And maybe to go down for a night or so and then fade away. Maybe they drag it out for weeks. There could be some serious events tied into this, and that's the biggest thing. Hoping that none of that type of shenanigan type stuff happens. But just be on the lookout, be vigilant out there during these times, all the way up to the election. And just have a plan, as we always say. Make sure to join me on D Live, where I'm talking about this in greater.
2nd Esdras 6:23. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein. The springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and to all you believers out there who believe in the gospel. And it's the brother Quara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. Now, I just want to go into a real quick lesson, shouldn't be long at all, but as you see, heard from Dabu7, as the title reads, plan for the worst. Law enforcement across America is bracing for what? Civil war, man, during election time, you see? And as he said, no matter who win, either Biden win or Trump win, these people are preparing to go to war, man. And that's the times we in. And that's why I wanted to read this, 2nd Esdras 6:24. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, man. Because you got some friends who's so-called friends in this world, but around dealing with politics around election time, that's when friends grow further apart, man. You see why? Because of their beliefs, with these politics, man. You might have some good friends who believe in what Trump's saying, but the other one believe in what Biden's saying. They gonna clash because of that, man. Well, we in those times that all things are about to be fulfilled, man, which is written therein. And this is nothing new to us, because, as he said, plan for the worst. Well, we've been planning for the worst, man, as believers of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. You see, we've been planning for the worst. We've been hoping for this. You see, but what's our plan? Trust in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, man. These other people don't have a plan. We looking forward to everything getting worse, because the worse it get, the better it is, and the closer it is for us to get into the kingdom, man. You see? But let me grab this real quick. This is because he also mentioned how it's gonna be a time. Let me see if I can find it.
For whatever reason. So we have law enforcement across the country stepping up now saying brace for chaos, because we've already seen, as an example, throughout this year, there are pockets of these individuals that hit these cities. And when they're done with one city, they'll move on to the next. Now, we've seen some crazy waves of madness in this country this year, the likes of which many people have never seen before.
You hear that? He said we've seen some crazy waves of madness and the likes which people have never seen before. Why? Because prophecy is being fulfilled, man. Real quick, this is Matthew 24 and 12. It says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, man. You see? And iniquity have been abounding. It's getting worse and worse. Dan and Dale, you got the Pope talking about, he agreed with gay marriage. You got homosexuals getting more rights. You feel me? You got people losing jobs. You got people stressing, the election on top of everything. You see different ideas, different beliefs. People struggling, man. People ready to go to war and fight for their lives, man. You see, and we in these times, especially Esau. Esau been living under his banner of white supremacy, so he been living on that pedestal, man. But now they say my rights being taken away. I don't want to wear a mask. They tired of it, man. So now they want to take up arms. You seen what happened to like Craig told Diddy on Friday after next. You seen what happened to the last security guards, huh? You see, but no, all jokes aside, but you seen what happened in Michigan, right? How them 13 Edomites, they planned on kidnapping the mayor, man. These things are about to take place. We are in these times, man. But just to back up what Dabu said, we in times that people have never seen before, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Matthew 24, and I'm going to jump down. In 21, it says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be, man. So we're in some great times, man. Great dangerous times, man. We're about to see a lot of wickedness and a lot of judgment, man. That's going to be sent from the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. And we only got, 2 weeks to the election? You see, matter of fact, I was talking to this Issachar woman at my job. She sit right on side of me in a little cubicle or whatever. So I told her, I was like, man, I'm ready for these elections. I'm ready to see what happened. The aftermath and everything I was telling her. And she was like, I'm not. I'm just ready for 2021 to get everything over with and start off new. You see these people not bracing, man. They not trying to get in that hiding place of the Lord, man. Because one, they don't know what's coming. You see? They don't know what's coming. But let me get this and end it. The whole point of the lesson, because these things are about to happen because it's prophesied. People will bear arms and come against the government. We already seen it happen across the 4 corners, man. You see? But real quick, this 2 Ezra 15 and 14. And I ended, it says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. And woe means destruction, man. You see a horrible time. It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. You see, you got all the Edomites against the NFAC. You got Republicans against Democrats. You just got everybody out here want to go to war. You got people who don't even care about the election. They just trying to get a new job, or they just trying to get money to feed their family, man. And they pissed off. It's going to come a time when it's going to be survival of the fittest. Whatever happens, goes, man. No rules, no laws. These police ain't going to stop nobody. It's going to come a time when the police officer going to be trying to save his own life and his own family life, man. There ain't going to be no security guards watching the prisoners, man. You see, ain't going to be no mayors and governors and, calling shots. And we about to read it. It says, for there shall be Salaki. I'm going to read that again, verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands, man. Now, it could be a literal sword, but what's the modern day sword? A gun, man. Any type of gun, any type of weapon at that. You see? It could be a flamethrower, drone. You see? Whatever type of weapon you have to kill, guess what? People going take hold of that and use it, man. You got Edomites and Jake who have guns. They just go to the shooting range. It comes a point in time when you want to truly use that gun on somebody, and we in that time, right? And it says, next verse says, Next verse says, verse 15, for there shall be sedition among men. And I'm going to stop right there because it got some more to the verse, but I'm going to stop right there. And I'm going to get this word sedition real quick. I'm going to go to the Etymon online. Sedition, it says mid-14th century. Sedition, it says rebellion, uprising, revolt. You see? I'm going to go into this word rebellion just to see if it got some good stuff. It says rebellion, an act of violence or open resistance to an established government or ruler, man. The police are part of that. Open resistance, out in the open, ain't holding back, in other words, man. It says an uprising, a revolt, concerted attempt to overthrow civil authority, man, for that word sedition. And this is in the scriptures. It says violent strife. Listen to this. Violent strife between factions. Now, what's factions? An example of that is what? Left wing, right wing, Democrats, Republicans, Proud Boys, NFAC, all these different groups, man. It says violent strife between factions. It says civil or religious disorder, riot, rebelliousness against authority. So it says law enforcement across America is bracing for civil authority during elections. Well, guess what? These police ain't gonna be able to do nothing. Then they gonna have to bring in a National Guard eventually. And people go overtake them. Then they gonna have to bring in the mercenary troops. And Jacob's trouble gonna be fully popped off, man. We in them times, man. Let's go. You see? It says disorder, riot, right? Civil disorder, strife, you know? Straight up. It says conduct or language inciting to rebellion against a lawful government. You see that, man? Treason. That's what it is. We in them times. Let's read it again. 2 Ezra 15:15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another, they shall, listen to this, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So it says, it's going to be a sedition. We went into sedition, a uprising, revolt, rebellion against authority, and invading one another. Just like he said, they're going to have people pulling up to the White House. You see, running into government buildings, man. It says they shall not regard their kings. The president ain't going to matter in that time. They ain't going to care what you got to say. They ain't going to care what Biden or Trump got to say. They ain't going to care what the governor got to say. It says, nor princes, the mayors. Anybody trying to hear that? Councilmen. It says in the course of their actions, so the course of the people's actions, the citizens shall stand in their power. These citizens go be doing what they want to do in that time, man. And ain't gonna be no more authority, you see? And because of that, it says, verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Martial law. Lock these cities down. These people acting like animals. Lock them down. Checkpoints. You see, it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. You see, if men are afraid, what women gonna be? It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And we in those times, they just had these news outlets going into how it's about to be a famine of biblical proportions. So a famine on top of the strife of the elections, on top of people losing jobs, on top of the lockdowns and COVID-19. You see, people go be running in the house. Your best friend and neighbor who you wave at, hey, Bob, go and take the trash out. Bob go run in your shit and take your shit, man. You see? It says for great tribulation, man. But we in these times, you know. But I just want to go through that, you know, real quick lesson. Seeing this just now, Dabu posted it up. You know, hey, it's news, you know, going into the news, updating the body, you know. But with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, by Shem Chakodash. With that, Shalom.